Donald Trump had his second phone call with Vladimir Putin. And during this call, what came out of it is that there will be no ceasefire. Basically, Putin never said no, right? He has a way of saying no that is way more respectful. So basically what he's saying is, look, if we have all of the requirements, right, every single thing that we want to see, if we can put all of that in place, then we can talk about a ceasefire. Now, today I want us to focus more on why is it that the EU, the West in general, all of a sudden they want a 30-day ceasefire. Now, in order for you to understand that, you have to go back to Istanbul 1.0, because right now we're at Istanbul 2.0. The very first negotiation in Istanbul, Russia that had decided they're going into Ukraine, we are in 2022. I believe it was either February or March. I can't remember. We kept seeing this column of military just driving, and it looked like they were going straight to Kiev. Zelensky decided, look, you know what? We don't want any problem with Russia. We cannot fight them. Let's sit down and negotiate. In fact, it is Ukraine that called Russia and said, look, we're ready to negotiate. We can be neutral and we can talk about this. Let's just sit down. And in these negotiations, Russia was ready to let the Donbass be neutral, even though Russia had just annexed the Donbass. And Ukraine was okay with that. They were also okay to be neutral. They said, look, we're not going to NATO. We don't want to go there. So, we are good with that. Basically, they were scared of what they saw. Russia was not planning to invade Kiev. Because, for the Western mainstream propaganda, government, and media, they're saying, oh, well, Russia didn't win because they had said that they want to take Ukraine in 3 days. Wrong. Right? Russia doesn't give much information when they do specifically military operations, wars, and things like that. Russians don't give out too much. So, as Ukraine was ready to sign, the US, NATO specifically, they decided, no, go ahead and stop Ukraine from signing this document. Tell them that we are going to defend them. They should be ready for war. We are with them. NATO will defend them, basically. So Boris Johnson wanted to play the good puppet. He went in there and gave the news. Say, look, don't sign that document. We got your back. Today, he's denying it. Say, oh, no, that has nothing to do with me. That's what happened. And Ukraine backed out of the negotiation. It was a surprise for Russia. Now we are Istanbul 2.0. Why? Because it's Ukraine and its backers. The I got your back NATO, who decided, now we want peace, please. We want peace. We want 30 days ceasefire. Please stop. What is going on now is that Russia, when it's understood that NATO is fully backing Ukraine, they decided, okay, we are going to position ourselves in a permanent war economy. And that is what Russia did. They have settled into this war. Now, everything goes smoothly and normally for them. They're not forcing people to mobilize in the army the same way that Ukraine is doing. Because the West wants to tell you that Ukraine is not losing that many soldiers. They're just backing. They're just pushing them back. But they're killing so many Russian soldiers that, man, you will feel sorry for Russia. But at the same time, it is the same Ukraine that is kidnapping people on the street and bringing them to the front line. I've never seen an army that is killing so many soldiers, but at the same time, they're the one losing. They've never won anything. So that's the lie, the West. And the reason why they usually do that is because they want to hide their failure. So they will always want to, point fingers at others. Look, Russia is losing so many soldiers. They're not going to do it anyway. I don't know why they keep wanting to do it. That's not important for us whether Russia is losing many soldiers or not. That is Russia's business. You should tell us how many you are losing. You should tell us how bad your situation is. You should tell us how the West is doing economically with all these sanctions. That's what we want to hear. But you cannot tell us that because it's a disaster. So, Russia is in a position where everything is permanent now. They have settled into this war. It's like a contract that they gave them for like maybe 10 years. They're ready to go as long as it takes, right? They have regular rotations. The troops in the front line are coming, home at a certain time and then sending the others. They're going to therapy. Everything is now settled and working smoothly as if it was regular business. But the West was not prepared for that. That's what's a problem. And then you have the fact that right now, Russia is winning and retaking cities faster. You're not hearing these things in the media because a lot of time Russia does not give a lot of information. The West like to talk a lot. They give out 80% of information and only keep 20. And the 20 that they keep is not to their advantage. But every single time they have a small thing that looks like it may win, they're out there telling you about it. But the difference with Russia is that they don't give you almost any information. They keep 70% and only give you 30%. It is on you to guess the rest. Russia right now is going around Prokofsk. I think that's how they call that city, right? Because they've been waiting for them to just, take that city. But Ukraine is putting resistance. So what Russia is doing is going around the city so they can encircle the Ukrainians. That's why you're not hearing anything, right? People say, oh no, Russia, a big army, they're not strong. Look at how long it takes them. That's because they don't want to kill people, like animals. The way that the West did in Iraq, Libya, Afghanistan, the way that they're doing in Palestine, where they're only killing civilian people, barely killing soldiers. Russia is going after soldiers. That's why they're going slowly. They're taking time because the slower you go, the more you can protect your soldiers. In reality, 15 Ukrainians are dying for one Russian. 15 Ukrainians. That's why they are in panic mode. The front line is about to collapse. Russia is encircling them and they're getting prepared for a summer offensive. So they need to stop this conflict immediately because the embarrassment is too much. They now know the people are blaming them for not allowing Ukraine to sign that first deal. Because now in Istanbul 2.0, Russia is no longer going to give them what they wanted to give them. Now they're going to take more. It's either you accept to give up things now or you accept to fight. And if you fight, get ready to lose more if you are going to be the loser. Because we know who is the loser in this fight. Anybody who's telling you that Russia is not winning is because they are facing an embarrassment. So they're not going to tell you that Russia is winning. Why do they want to tell you that? How does it benefit them? They are losing badly right now. They're embarrassed. Everything is going wrong. What we have is a situation where the West is in panic mode. The result of their investment is bad. So what they need is a break. And that's what they're looking for. But that break doesn't mean that they will stop. No, they cannot stop. So what they want is Russia to capitulate by accepting this 30-day ceasefire. That's it. For them, they feel like this is the last thing that they have that can give them a little bit of hope that one day they can still come back and bring Russia down.